Thank you for your attention today. For those of you who know me, know that my background is traditional Chinese medicine. For those that don't know me, for the last 12 and a half years, I've been helping people to find natural solutions to their health challenges using the ancient philosophy and wisdom of Chinese medicine. So what I wanted to do is just give you a little insight today in part of what I do. In terms of when I get together with a client, whether that's an acupuncture client or a coaching client, I have the same methodology because it's really important to get to know their Chinese medicine diagnosis. So it gives me a really important picture. It tells me a story. It gives context to why they have their challenges that they have today, what's happened right from childhood, right through to where they are today. And this is where the diagnosis really steps into its own. A little bit about Chinese medicine is we look at things from a holistic viewpoint. We look at everything in its entirety and it all relates back to nature. So we look at the five elements of nature, which are fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. And these all correlate to the seasons as well. So there are actually five seasons in Chinese medicine. So fire is related to summer, earth is related to late summer, early autumn. We've got metal, which relates to later autumn. And then we've got water, which relates to winter, and wood, which is the spring element that we look at. These are all part of nature and they're all interrelated and interconnected. We don't sort of see a separation between each season. They all just sort of combines and interrelates and interconnects, just like we do as a human being. So they're also related to organs in our body as well. So you can see here we've got the heart, spleen, lung, kidney, and liver. So each one has a role in its own identity, but also has an interrelationship and dependency on the rest of the organ structure, the rest of the body. So I just wanted to sort of set some context there. So what we look at in diagnosis is we look at creating a picture using these five element principles. So what's involved? We look at tongues. So I've looked at thousands of tongues over the years. Tells a really interesting story. We take pulses, so we get a feel of what the energy is doing in the body. So we're listening, obviously taking or having a consultation, taking information from a client, observation, looking at how they look, their complexion, how they present themselves, their mannerisms, their behaviors, and obviously pull that together in an assessment. And part of that, and one of the things I really want to highlight today about part of the diagnosis is personality archetype. So I want to share with you what sorts of things help make up this picture so that I can really truly help that person and find the solution that's right for them. So the first archetype I want to talk about is wood. So the wood archetype is linked with the liver organ. And this type of personality is known as the planner and the perfectionist. So this, like I said, corresponds to the liver and the gallbladder in Chinese medicine and the color green. So when we're looking at observation, we might see a slightly green pallor to the skin, for example, which is also an indicator of an imbalance of the liver energy. So wood personality types love to be organized. They are achievers. They're probably overachievers and seek for perfection. And they are never satisfied unless they're sort of aiming for something higher. So they really seek out challenges to push themselves to the limit. And they love action. So they love adventure. They love movement. They love their body. They like to keep going. And they like to be the first and the best. So they're often very, very competitive. So that's all the sort of positive things there, that can be really seen as a positive. However, on the flip side of a wood personality, the emotion associated with wood is anger. And they may anger very easily and find it that they shout a lot, or their emotions are very much on the surface. The anger and the frustration is very much on the surface. So this actually also means they can struggle with control. So when they are seeking perfection and organization and everything planned to perfection, obviously life isn't like that. So they can struggle with feeling out of control when things don't work out as planned. And they can often carry excess tension and stress, and they are prone to nervous disorders. So migraines, allergies, sinusitis, all sorts of different things. And because the liver is associated with the eyes, they often have dry eyes or eye problems as well. So that's just another way of looking at what a wood personality would present like in clinic, or come to me for help through coaching. So you might, as we go through this, identify with one or more of these personality types. It's just a really interesting exercise if you see yourself in here. So the fire personality is linked to the heart and the small intestine organs, linked to the colour red, and thrives during summer. Really likes, tell I've already mentioned I like being on a beach in the summer. This is me. I'm definitely a fire personality. So love the summertime, love morning, and in the middle of the day is when my energy is at its best. So fire personalities are social bodies. They're full of energy. They love to be joyful, and they are great team players. They love collaboration. They love being social, and they actually feed off other people's energies. So joy is very much the associated emotion of the fire personality type. And they're really the pleasure seekers. So anything that feels good, you see there, the mugs of hot chocolate. But that's the main focus, is to enjoy life, to find joy in things, and to be positive, have that positive outlook. However, because they enjoy doing that through people, that means that sometimes when they aren't around people, their energy wanes a little bit. And it also means they struggle from shiny object syndrome. So they struggle with task completion because they get plenty of distractions. If they think, oh, that's going to be lovely over there, that's going to give me joy and pleasure over there, they often aren't good at finishing tasks and may lack focus and concentration. Because the element is associated with the heart energies as well, they might have insomnia issues. So, and they are also prone to anxiety and depression, as well as, feelings of maybe not isolation, but when they're not surrounded by people to give them that energy that they're looking for, and the joy, if they're not constantly surrounded by pleasure. So they can have physical problems associated with cardiovascular as well. So things like hypertension, high blood pressure, palpitations, and cholesterol as well. So it's just some other indicators to watch out for that these personality types are prone to. The earth element, this is me as well. I did say you can be one or more types because that is quite common. Even though one might be stronger than the other, you could even have two or three. Earth archetype, like Mother Earth, is nurturing. So they are the caregivers. They are people that excel in the care profession. So they might be nurses or teachers or health coaches. But it also links back to the digestive system. So our digestive system is responsible for nurturing and nourishing us from obviously a physical level, but also in Chinese medicine on an emotional and spiritual level as well. So this is where the caregiver, the earth personality, loves to take care of everybody else. However, the emotion linked with this is overthinking, so ruminating. And this can lead to anxiety and a sensitivity to others in terms of they can take on other people's stuff as well and not be able to deal with it. And because they're always prioritizing other people, they can neglect themselves and let their own self-care dip. So that is something to watch out for if you are this personality type. They also have a tendency for digestive problems or diabetes, excessive eating, obesity, stomach issues, colitis, ulcers, that sort of thing. And they often suffer from inflammatory joint disorders, particularly arthritis. And in women, have irregular periods and may have some fertility problems as well. So the metal archetype, this is associated with the autumn and the lungs, and basically the large intestines as well. So they're yin yang partners. I'll go into that another time.
2 minutes.
Thank you. And often associated with the colour white. So if somebody's particularly pale in colour, that is another indicator that they could be a metal type. So also associated with the immune system, and things like asthma can be a problem for people who are a metal type because it's again associated with the lungs and the immune system, and allergies as well. So this personality loves structure. They love definition and discipline. They like things to be the same. But they like that sort of discipline in life, and they're often a little bit upset when things aren't part of their structure. So they are quite private, may be seen as loners. A grief or sadness is the emotion associated with the metal element. So they are often quite private and might struggle to open up, which can actually make them seem quite cool and aloof, and can often lead to loneliness. But they are very trustworthy people. So again, they can sometimes have to deal with ligament and joint problems as well. And the final one is water. The water element is linked with winter and the kidneys. And it aligns with the color black. So sometimes if people have a kidney imbalance, they have dark circles under the eyes. That's a little indicator that the dark black sort of color under the eyes is an imbalance. Linked with the bladder and the bones. And this type of personality is introverted. So they are they're deep thinkers. They like to find solace in their own energy. So they'll go off on their own. They might be really creative. They could be artists. They could be musicians, but they love that introspection. They love that finding solace in being alone and reflecting. The issue with that for them sometimes is that fear is the emotion related to the water element. And that can mean that they don't want to ever step outside of their comfort zone. And they tend to shy away from things that feel scary. And that can lead to isolation. And especially people who find solace in being alone can really find themselves depressed and really isolated from the rest of the world. They can often seem quite tough and insensitive as well, and maybe critical and cynical people. And also they're prone to back pain, urinary disease, and deafness and arthritis as well. So these are just examples of the extent to we go to in diagnosis with Chinese medicine. And it's really just to set apart like what I do that might be different from other health coaches, because it is really about getting a bespoke solution for that person. And you can't do that without really understanding a pattern and why a person has got the issues that they have today. So looking at this in a completely holistic assessment way helps me to identify and the person identify where we need to make the changes that's going to be exactly suited to them. It's not off the peg. This is truly bespoke and tailored. And that's where you get maximum results. So, and also with this education and this awareness, it enables a person to feel empowered to keep on with the healthy habits and find that healthy balance as they move through life, because they've got a stronger connection to themselves and how they are unique in the world, how they fit in with nature. And that's a really important part for their own healing journey and helping them to stay well for that longevity and vitality and balance that they deserve. So that's a really quick run through. I realize that's a lot of information there, but you might have seen something that you identify with in there, or that feels familiar. And if you ever want to have a chat with me about imbalance or what that might mean for you in terms of improving your health, your productivity, your energy, then I offer a complimentary assessment, and of course a one-to-one. Be good just to have a chat. So I think my time is probably up there, Susie. Really went over a little bit, but that's it. Happy to take any questions if you've got time.
I think we've got time for, we can probably do 2 quick questions if anyone's got a question. Yes, Katrine. Trying to find
Sorry, I was having difficulty with the mute button. But so with my clients, I often find, like from experience, that suppressing our emotions is really something that makes us ill. And I would love to hear your views on that, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, coming from a Chinese medicine perspective, everything is energy. So even thoughts and feelings have an energetic frequency associated with them. And when we suppress and when we don't feel free to communicate or resolve any conflict within, or feel free to express ourselves, it creates an energy block. So because you're sort of holding on to something and not being able to let it flow, either by expressing it or resolving it in another way, then it will create an energy block. And energy blocks then can contribute to things like pain, tension, insomnia, digestive problems, headaches, you name it. It just can get in the way of good health. The body likes something called homeostasis, which is an ideal harmonious balance, which, that everything operates fully when it's in harmony. Anything that's going to get in the way of that is going to risk your health in some way, especially if it's long term. If it's long term, short term, the body is really good at helping to resolve itself, but long term stuff, yeah, I absolutely totally agree with that. We need to resolve things that are getting in the way, whether that's thoughts, feelings. Yeah, they do eventually show up as physical manifestations in the body.